Find out the big mystery that these four sisters were plotting while their parents were on vacation. But before we start, please give the video a like and make sure to subscribe to Wonderbot and hit the bell so you'll never miss any uploads from us. You never know what parents will return to after traveling or going away from home. Even if they leave the kids at home for a day, sometimes a day is all it takes for kids to ruin the whole interiors of a house. You can never be so sure if they'd not throw a "the parents are gone" party. There's always a surprise waiting at home for parents when they're away from home. We all know that raising teenagers is one of the hardest tasks that a parent could ever be faced with. Sometimes all a parent needs is a long vacation away from home with the hopes that their kids behave while they're away. Since raising kids is one of the most draining challenges, parents often feel the desire to be free from responsibilities. The Schoonovers were in for the surprise of their lives. The Schoonover family reside in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's actually quite the vacation spot. However, Karen and Chip still wanted to have a getaway once in a while. They felt like their four daughters were grown enough to be dutiful, so they decided to go on a week-long trip one December. Little did they know that this was going to lead them to an unexpected surprise. The Schoonover family's parents, Karen and Chip, would give each of their kids a name that started with the alphabet letter H. Heather was the eldest daughter and had already gotten married long before the surprise incident took place. Her little sisters, Holly, Hallis, and Haley, always liked to include their eldest in everything they did. So what was going to happen during their parents' vacation? Holly always had a good quality as a leader. As the second oldest, she was often in charge of her younger sisters. Since it was the month of December, the girls obviously had plans and they weren't sure if they could pull it off without their parents' knowledge. Holly requested her younger sister Haley to set up a camera for all that they did so they could look back at the documentation. So what was Holly's big plan? Well, even though she never had any such interest in interior designing, she's always had a knack for it. Holly's actual dream was to become a famous actress and singer. Entertainment is a tough business, so she was in the meantime catering her friends and family as a makeup artist. It's a career that she hopes to work out in the long run. Holly enjoyed being in front of the camera, while youngest sister Haley loved to operate it. The two sisters would help each other in their respective arts, as Holly helped out with her sister's makeup and Haley's lens, the final product. In terms of the Christmas gift that the sisters planned for their lovely parents, both Holly and Haley's creativity was certainly going to make it easier to achieve. Even though her other sisters chose an unconventional career path, Hallis was okay following her eldest sister's path and enrolled in university. Hallis was not far from home as she got accepted into Coastal Carolina University. This was not a first for the family because Heather charted the same path a few years before. She attained her bachelor's degree. She wanted to pursue a career in physical therapy. The three younger sisters might be a little more involved in the Christmas gift as they all still live in North Myrtle Beach, but the eldest had moved away. She still stays in South Carolina but has moved with her hubby elsewhere. She has a job in marketing for a real estate company, but Heather found it important that she returned home and help with the big surprise for her parents. The Schoonover has been an important component in the North Myrtle Beach community. This was not the case in the past. All the sisters were born in Seminole, Florida, where most of their childhood was spent. After their relocation, each member of the family loved Myrtle Beach so much and was convinced that it was where they belonged. They loved their home and their neighborhood too. It was the Schoonover sisters' plan to also take over the internet as their documentation began circulating all over. Users began to take notice of their YouTube video and were on board and excited to see the look on their parents' face when they returned from their trip. The viewers were growing by the hour, and it made the impact of their plan even greater. The girls were planning on giving a home makeover while their parents away. To most, this would equal to cleaning and arranging the house, but they wanted to take it a step further. They didn't expect it to be too draining or exhausting. Since none of the sisters had ever done any home renovation before, there was going to be a challenging Christmas surprise. The girls wished to give their parents' home an impressive makeover without any of their knowledge. Cleaning things were only the beginning. When they finally started, they immediately saw that there was a ton of stuff that needed to be removed. Their initial plan was to take a few hours to clean up the mess in the house, but this alone took up the major part of their day. Their task was proving to be more tiring than they'd expected. Holly was starting to feel a little defeated, but even so, they went on to rip off the old carpeting in the process. They were slowly making progress, which was way slower than any of them expected. When they took off the family's old carpet, the easiest way they could dispose of it was by throwing it from the window. The girls must have been fooled thinking that these makeover shows take just a few minutes when they watched it on television. This is because they understood how long their Christmas gift would take to be fully completed. The girls soon realized that they needed more manpower, so they called upon other boys to help them. Their hope was that these guys were available to help. As Holly and her sister's plans went on, they wanted to make sure everything was up to date and that they replaced everything old with new. This would mean not just cleaning and repainting, but also contributing money to get new furniture for the home. They realized getting new furniture was less stressful than getting rid of the old. The four girls were certainly finding it exhausting to do the job, but some of them were quite accustomed to physical activity. Eldest sister Heather has actually participated in a workout accountability group where she helps people attain their fitness and wellness goals. Alice has also studied and received a degree in exercise and sports science while the house was renovated. The Schoonover sisters were not far apart in age, so working together came quite easily for them. A massive task such as renovating an entire house would not be possible if the people working together could not communicate well with each other. Each girl could make use of her skills, and the other sisters would follow without hesitation. The family pastime of geocaching has definitely helped them cooperate better. If you've ever taken up a task as big as this, you'd be well aware of the hardship that it entails. Most people end up feeling like they've been slacking on their fitness and health for years. As they approached their third day, the sisters were beginning to feel like they were not capable. They looked around and saw the little progress they'd made, getting their spirits down a little. So days went by and it was getting colder and colder. As the sun rose, the sisters would get up and wear their work clothes, getting ready for another day's work in the frosty weather. They struggled to remain motivated as the house was a mess and they barely got any sleep. In order to get themselves more enthusiastic, one of the sisters got energy drinks, which they all happily chugged. Even though they now had a little more help than before, even painting the one room was harder and more tedious than any of them had anticipated. After moving the heavy furniture around, they already had the notion that the most difficult part of the job was done, but they were wrong. When they got down to painting the rooms, they found that the corners and curves of windows required extreme patience and effort. Half of the week had passed and they realized that there was a long list of things they still had to take care of. Lack of sleep was just one of their problems now. They revealed in the videos that their legs were sore from standing and their backs were aching terribly. If it was not for the love of their mom and dad, they would have surely called it quits by now. As days went by, their progress started to show. They'd find the next day even more challenging than the previous one. Haley and Holly had noticed that it was the 5th day of their renovations. The girls were not about to let this number distract them from their goal. They were more focused on getting things done quickly instead of crying about the pace of their progress. Haley made sure to document all the progress they'd made by the time day 5 got over. Holly was on the floor of the dining room, carefully painting details on the wall using the color pale blue. Haley also revealed that it was just the two of them that night, but they had a major accomplishment. The two girls, without any outside help, managed to replace the old carpet with a new one. When their 7 a.m. alarm rang, Holly and Haley knew it was time to get up from their limited sleep. The girls had to be obedient as the kitchen was only half painted till then. Half the cabinets needed their second coating, while the other half has not even been painted on. The day was important as it was the last day before their parents finally got home. When day 6 came, it was Holly who took the camera to record exactly how tired they were in the car. Haley'd been asked how she felt when she answered, "I feel like I'm in the army." Holly was also showing the camera her stress acne that had popped up on her face. The sisters had to put up all the furniture in place and paint the finishing touches on the paintings. The day their mother and father returned was going to be an epic one. The girls could barely wait to see how their parents were going to respond to the surprise. There was one more thing that they had in store. They were going to conceal the surprise, passing it as their eldest sister, Heather's surprise visit. Heather had gone to the house and set up cameras to capture their reaction. "We are so nervous," revealed Holly as she spoke to the camera. They started filming their parents as soon as they saw them pull up in the driveway of their home. How will they take in their Christmas gift? The sisters made sure to use this clip as the opening scene for the YouTube video. The girls hurried down to greet their parents with the huge surprise they've been planning for days. Geocaching is not everybody's cup of tea. There are a few people who find pleasure in this treasure hunt worldwide. The advent of smartphones has definitely resulted in the degrading of this activity as GPS has reduced the struggle of searching. The idea behind geocaching basically means that a trinket would be hidden in the world somewhere, with the information of its location known to the public only and would help. Karen and Chip Schoonover reached home after going on their week-long trip. They immediately sensed that something was different. Karen grew suspicious when her daughters all lined up outside to greet them, but she couldn't place her finger on what it was. Karen and Chip were expecting a hey, what are you doing here?" from their 3 daughters, but were delighted to see Heather. Karen immediately saw the condition of the house and asked, "All right, who cleaned?" Seeing Heather was something that made Karen very happy and emotional, although she did hope that her kids had tidied up the house. From the outside, Karen could tell that her house has definitely been cleaned, but she was not aware of how much. She could not expect to see all that they'd done. Heather informed their parents, "Your surprise isn't over yet," and told them to follow her inside. Neither Karen nor Chip could have imagined that their girls could have gone to all this work. The girls requested their mom to take a deep breath before she stepped foot in the newly renovated house. Karen and Chip took their step inside of the house, only to be blown away. Karen was completely amazed. "What?" she screamed. She could not believe what had happened. "What did you do?" As she paced through the newly renovated house, Karen could barely hold in her excitement and shock. She got more than she wanted, as her girls did not just clean up the place, but went as far as updating the kitchen. Karen was going to be more surprised as there was more. Karen and Chip went inside the kitchen, where Karen could no longer grab hold of her emotions. Tears flooded her cheeks as she took a look at her new kitchen. They painted the walls pale blue and accented it by striking brown cabinets. The girls also placed a new countertop with a slab of polished marble that was refreshing to even look at. The girls told her that there were still more surprises. Karen then stepped into the dining room as she took off her glasses that had been fogged up due to her tears. She didn't expect her babies to do this extent of work, renovating not just one room, but even the common areas where the family spends time. The girls were quite happy with how their mother had responded and felt fulfilled by their hard work. Karen still needed to see more of the house. The girls excitedly instructed their parents to look at every room, confident in the work they'd put into all the little details. Karen was so elated that she seemed to be dancing on her feet, unable to control her happiness. Chip was also equally astounded and stood in the doorway. Karen was very expressive and loud, while Chip remained perplexed but happy to see all this change. The Schoonover parents could not wrap their heads around what had taken over their precious girls to take on this intense transformation mission. Even the master bedroom had been renovated with new tubs and showers, plus freshly painted walls. The girls had truly outdone themselves. Karen and Chip felt lucky to be blessed by their amazing kids. But wait, there's still more. Karen and Chip could not believe that the tour did not end in their bedroom but was dragged to the guest rooms. The room had been decorated to complement the whole theme of the new house. All the assortments of the room were new, from the curtains to the bed sheets. The parents could tell their kids had spent their thought, time, and money on all of this and felt extremely proud. All the girls wanted was to give the very best Christmas present Karen and Chip had ever received. They told their viewers all about this as the video came to an end. The girls were aware now that what they'd taken on was a task of epic proportions. Karen and Chip also revealed that they were more than happy to come home to a new and improved house, prouder than ever of the beautiful, thoughtful girls they'd raised. Holly posted the renovation video on her YouTube account a few days after it happened. This was actually her first time ever posting a video. It did not go unnoticed as the views grew as time went by. She didn't expect so many people to be interested in her small video. In a span of just a few months, the video raked in about 115,000 views and counting. Holly had always wanted to be famous, but she never thought this special Christmas gift for her parents would be done to make that happen. Their story's heartwarming, so obviously many people all over the world could relate to it. Haley, Holly, Heather, and Hallis were completely unaware that their story and video had gone viral. The girls were ecstatic to find out about this. It was Haley who discovered the impact of their story. As she was looking through her Facebook feed, she suddenly saw a picture of her and her sisters. From then, she could tell that their video had made the rounds, that they'd reached thousands of people. She couldn't wait to share this article she stumbled upon with the rest of her family. The girls could not believe how much their small video had done in inspiring others. It was unbelievable for them to see that many sites and blogs were sharing their story. This family from North Carolina could not believe that they had people outside America reading about their home renovation. The sisters hope that people who stumble upon their story realize that we're often more efficient and capable than we give ourselves credit.